It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theaters, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
And Murray's flying the colors today, flying the cuff colors. Calgary Underground Film Festival. It's only, 3 weeks away?
3 weeks.
3 weeks away. That is very exciting. Are you excited, Merman?
I am excited.
So am I. So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Ooh, thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform. Or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/FilmRageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film. And we'll watch it if it played anywhere, in a theater, in the world. Unless it's a kid's movies, we will absolutely watch it. Now, let's get to raging. Crank this up, would you? Just don't get enough of this. Bryce and Jim thought of the movies that they saw last week. Swimming.
I'm sorry, it's clown music, but whatever.
What are you talking about?
It's clown music.
Oh, there's no clown in this. There's not one clown in this music.
Well,
I know not of what you speak.
That is true.
Well,
What you got there, buddy?
You guys had a busy weekend.
We had 5 movies. Count them.
5 movies.
5 of them.
Are you sure? I thought there was 4.
Plus the other 2 movies that we also...
Oh, 5. Yeah, no, there's 5.
There's 5 plus
And then
2 other movies that we watched for other reasons.
Rage or Dare and
the
Mesmerized Off.
That's right.
How the heck did I even get to work this week?
Good thing we called in sick a few times.
Yes.
Well, I previewed for 2 different festivals at the same time, so...
Oh, what is
boo-hoo.
this, a pissing contest? Come on,
Just
let's
saying.
get on with the show.
I watched as many as you. I just didn't have to pay for those.
Yeah. Neither did we.
Okay. Well, first up, I guess, on the list here is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, what I am curious to hear what you think we're going to rate this.
Yeah. Well, sadly, I didn't get to see it with you guys because apparently you had more important things to do.
That's right.
So I had to see it by myself
Oh, by his lonesome.
By myself.
because my other friends bailed on me too.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. I don't remember you guys liking the other one very much.
That's true.
And I don't think Bryce really is a big fan of the franchise in general.
I thought the first one was okay. Of course, I was like 6 when I watched it.
That's
So
the problem. You're too young. So
I am too young.
I think based
What?
on what I think I know about Bryce, I think he probably raged about this one.
All right.
Jim, of course, enjoys a lighthearted romp once in a while.
I do like lighthearted romps sometimes.
I think you might have given it a meh.
All right.
Next one, Late Night with the Devil.
Yes. Satan.
Night with the devil.
Which I actually did want to see.
Hail
but
Satan.
unfortunately, it was playing on a Saturday night when I had to get up at 5 a.m.
Saturday
Sunday morning.
night.
All right. For
And
right.
B, it was
Yes.
playing at a place that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to go into.
That's
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah, we're gonna.
If it was playing anywhere else in the city,
Yeah, okay.
I would have gone to see it.
Yeah. What do you
I
think?
didn't get to see it. I think Jim, loving all things horror, probably
Yes.
gave it a mondo.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce, being a little more critical, might have only given it a minute.
Interesting.
You do know David Dastmalchian's in it.
I do love me some David Dastmalchian.
Next up, Immaculate.
Immaculate.
We didn't get to see it cuffed.
No.
Other things were happening.
That's
apparently.
right.
What do you think we thought of an Immaculate?
Well, If it was like every other PG horror movie.
I think it was 14A though.
It was
14A.
It was
Yes.
14A.
But it wasn't 18
It was
plus.
like fun.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
it's 14A.
I
Hey.
don't know. I
PG.
heard it wasn't bad, but I don't think it's good enough to be a Mondo.
Okay,
right.
okay.
I think we
yeah.
both met that
We
one.
both met it.
Exhuma, I've never heard of.
Exhuma.
But did you watch the
I
trailer?
watched the trailer.
Nice.
I saw it was Korean, and I saw it was a horror movie.
Yes.
All right.
Case closed. Mondo.
Mondo.
Mondo a Mondo.
All right.
And I guess I'm doing this other one too.
Why not?
Why
Riddle
not?
of
We're going to
Fire.
talk
Riddle
about
of
it.
Fire.
Riddle of Fire, which
Yep. We
just
literally
recently saw.
like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, 5 minutes. I don't know. I was sitting beside Jim.
Yes.
There's
a lot of chuckling.
There was a lot of chuckling,
There was.
more than mine.
Yeah.
I chuckled sometimes, not all of it.
Yes.
And apparently he's obsessed with the music in the movie. So,
Yes, we're
Yeah.
going to talk about that later.
I'm sure we are. And how wrong I was.
Bryce, I couldn't tell looking over at him whether he was enjoying it or not. I think he might have laughed maybe twice. I don't know.
I laughed more than twice.
Yeah.
I think he might have given that a man. And I think Jim definitely gave it a Mondo.
Wow.
Whatever.
Interesting.
Whatevs.
I
What
am
else?
very excited to listen to the rest of the show to see how bang on or,
The
way
Murrays.
off base you were.
How
I'm sure
amazing
you are.
the
How
amazing,
amazing
Merman
is the
You
Merman?
guys care way more about that than I do.
Our listeners, that's all they talk about.
I will tell you that on 1, 2, 3 of my reviews,
wrong.
I started thinking that I was going to be rating them one way. And as I was writing and thinking about the movie and going over it all, I completely changed my mind on 3 reviews of the 5.
That's cray-cray.
Yeah.
Huh. All right,
The
well,
first of which is Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Yeah.
I honestly thought I was going to rate this one way, but after, combing over it and going back
Mulling.
over stuff in my mind and, regurgitating that stuff from my mind onto the paper,
Yeah.
this is what I thought.
Oh, I can't wait. You know what?
Yes.
It's giving me a chill just thinking about it.
Interesting. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is a return to the formula of the original film from 40 years ago, albeit with about 3 times the characters. The Spanglers are back. Carrie Coon as Callie, Finn Wolfhard as Trevor, whose role is now reduced to getting slimed, and McKenna Grace as Phoebe, along with Paul Rudd as Gary, the science teacher who loves busting ghosts.
Wait, before you go on, I just interrupt. Are you going to list every fucking cast member? Because
Yep.
there's like 800.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, that's the podcast today, people.
That's it. Plus, we get the original Ghostbusters back with Dan Aykroyd,
Oh, geez.
Bill Murray, whose dialogue was absolutely atrocious, tall, dark, and horny at 12 o'clock. That is just lazy writing.
Yep.
And Ernie Hudson, along with Annie Potts and William Atherton. And then there's Lucky and Lars Pinfield and Podcast and Melody and Dr. Hubert Wartsky and Nadim Razmati. And it was just
Fucking
too
God.
much. There were so many freaking characters. Still, adding Kumail Nanjiani as Razmati and Patton Oswalt as Wartsky brought some additional funny to the project. Plus, the mini Stay Puft Marshmallow guys are still funny. I would imagine that if you love the original film, then nostalgia alone may make this watchable. But if this film was forced to stand on its own, I am not sure I would know who anyone in this was, as the character development is superficial at best. I definitely laughed a few times, but a few laughs does not make me ignore the lazy reliance on the past and subpar dialogue. Plus, if you're going to hint at an attraction between Phoebe and Melody, have some balls and explore it instead of just hinting at it. So Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is at least 10 times better than Ghostbusters Afterlife, but unfortunately, that still makes it a rage.
Oh my goodness.
Shocker.
So far, the Merman is dialing it in to 100%. All right, so Ghostbusters.
Is that it?
You left the
Are you
country.
done?
I kind of felt done. You left the country for the city. For what reason? I'm not sure.
More ghosts to bust.
You are now volunteer Ghostbusters, and the entire cast of the previous movie conveniently also went to New York. On top of that, you have copious amounts of nostalgia-ridden scenes, and you bring back the Stay Puffs for cuteness factor.
They were fun.
As well as Slimer
they were
for,
fun.
again,
Slimer
no
wasn't.
reason
Yeah.
whatsoever. The whole basis of the last movie was that the Ghostbusters went bankrupt because there was no more ghosts.
Is that true? I don't even remember the last
that
movie.
was the last movie. They went bankrupt.
I was not gonna
They went
watch it
bankrupt.
again.
All of them were broke. And
That's because Gozer moved to Nebraska. Or
yeah,
whatever.
wherever. What's Drumheller actually? But so they basically they went out to the country to find ghosts because there was no more ghosts in New York. So so they go to, and guess what?
Yeah.
There's thousands of ghosts now back in New York.
So many ghosts.
So they're volunteering as Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Apparently, for no apparent reasons. Plus, they got kid Ghostbusters. What the actual fuck is that? There's no reason for kids to be Ghostbusters. If they're holding they even say it in the movie, they're holding a nuclear power plant in their hands. Like, for God's sakes, how responsible is this going to be for kids? I'm bringing back the OGs again, to Murray's point, because that brings in nostalgia people, right? I mean, that's the whole reason why people are going now is because the OGs are back.
That's the whole reason they're making these
The
things.
demon had a chance to kill them all at least twice, but doesn't. And then, surprise, they win again. Oh, and nobody dies when at least most of them should have died. What I can tell you this was better than the last one.
Yeah.
In fact, and I'll say a little bit more of that in a minute. It also had Kamal Nanjiani and Patton Oswalt, who were both completely awesome additions, but the cast of characters was way too bloated. And I actually liked the idea of this demon ghost, where it comes from, but even though this was very much better, in fact, I would go as far to say it was 100 times better than the last
100.
100 times better than the last movie.
Yeah.
The franchise.
That's gotta make it a mad, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is clear.
Doesn't sound like it.
It is clear franchise nostalgia-ridden films. These just are not for me. Children Ghostbusters makes no sense, and as I am not a teenager and wishing I was a Ghostbuster, just start writing ghost stories that don't rely on nostalgia to get people into movie theaters, and stop creating franchise toys so that people can still buy Stay Puft babies. As much as those Stay Puft babies are cute and adorable, they have no real purpose. And they still, in this movie, made absolutely no sense why they existed. So Ghostbusters Reboot 2.0, yes, you are 100 times better than the last Ghostbusters movie, but that still only makes you a rage. This movie, actually, I have to say this. Actually, you know what? Let's let Murray have it say. Oh no, I'm going to say it first. We walked out of this movie theater. We actually saw this in IMAX, which I'm glad I did actually, because there's some visual stuff in here that is pretty good. My wife walks out and she says, "That was the worst movie I've ever seen." I've never heard her say that. I've heard her say she hates movies, but she said, "I absolutely hated that movie. That was the worst movie I've ever seen."
Wow.
Yeah. All right, Murray, over to you. Close us out for Ghostbusters.
Surprise, surprise. You guys hated it.
Yep.
Okay, look. If you didn't like the original Ghostbusters films, you're not going to like this one, and I can't help you. If you're like me, and you love the world of Ivan Reitman and his very talented son, and you're willing to actually have fun watching a film, then you might like this.
I have fun watching films.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Not this kind of movies.
Not to say I didn't have some issues with the story in this one.
What are you talking about?
Like the previously genius granddaughter of Egon Spengler doing some pretty stupid things. But she's a kid. The fact that nobody thought to bring a flamethrower to take down an ice demon. And bringing back Dickless from the original. Who apparently
who's dickless?
He has no dick.
That's what they were
Mayor
told.
Walter Peck
Oh,
is dickless.
dickless.
William
Oh,
Atherton.
yes.
Apparently weaseled his way into the mayor's office
His acting.
after he was thrown out
He's
40
terrible.
years ago. And the Marshmallow Man.
Yes.
Oh my God! Can we stop with the cutesy
Yes!
creatures?
Thank
I
you.
want the whole movie to be that, because at
Disney-fy
least I smile
every
when that happens.
freaking movie.
That's all I want.
As a 100-foot Godzilla-like monster, Mr. Stay Puft was cool.
Yes, he was.
Was he?
Now, as a miniature version, I put them below the stupid Porg bird things from Star Wars.
What?
I get it. You're trying to sell merchandise.
Yes! Stay Puft Kids.
I
Babies.
like the Stay Puft guys.
Everything else, I absolutely loved.
Nice.
Love.
So you love the plot, the story, the number of characters.
No, well, I don't need all those characters, but
Oh, yeah.
I like the.
Are you sure?
I
So you
like
love
the
the
There's
nostalgia.
only like 50.
I will agree with you about kids being Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Although Mackenzie Grace is a special case because
She's specially
she's awesome
educated.
and
McKenna.
she's the granddaughter of Spengler.
Mm.
She's smarter than any of the adults in this movie. So I'm okay
Is
with
she,
her
though?
doing it. But all those lame ass kids from the last one, I don't know why they followed everybody to New
Yeah,
York.
there's-
They shouldn't have been there.
Mm.
Anyway, the OG Ghostbusters, who had a much bigger part in this role, loved them.
Well,
Janine Melnitz, aka Annie Potts, as a Ghostbuster, awesome. By the way, this stuff is from the cartoon in case you never watched it.
and I didn't.
I also didn't.
Well, there you go. They
Is
got
what?
this. They got this stuff. So it wasn't like they just made it up. This is from the cartoon.
Ah.
She was a Ghostbuster in the cartoon.
Nice.
Okay.
I loved her Thanos glove blaster. McKenna Grace was a delight as usual, though I liked her a little bit better in the last one.
Okay.
I didn't love her ghost friend, although I
I'm
could see that plot development coming a mile away.
I'm still figuring out why at some point they didn't make out. So when she became a ghost, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, they're finally gonna make
Yeah,
out. 'Cause
totally.
we're gonna go there because we've been hinting at it this
Because
whole
she
way.
was an evil minion.
But they
Spoiler
still had
alert.
some chemistry.
Yes, you know
Anyway,
what?
the
I like
actress,
the bad
actress did
girls.
it. She did a solid job in that role, whoever it was. Paul Rudd wasn't as funny, which is kind of his thing. That's okay.
Paul
because-
Rudd. My thing is I'm not that funny.
No, I mean, he's funny in everything. He's supposed to be funny in everything, but he wasn't in this one.
No?
That's okay because my favorite Pakistani funny man,
Yeah.
Kamel, what's his name,
Nanjiani.
Nanjiani?
was hilarious.
He was.
He is great in everything. I
Patton
will say
Oswalt
that.
was highly underused.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Killed it in his only scene.
Sounds like
See, we
Marie agrees
agree.
with everything.
We agree with
Yeah,
everything you're
the
saying.
ending was
for the
pretty-
last 5 seconds.
The difference is I have joy in my heart and you don't.
I've
Yeah,
got
the
some joy.
ending was predictable and smarmy, but when the credits rolled and I saw Ivan Reitman's name, I still got misty.
Nice.
Of course, it's a Mondo
Is it?
because
Okay.
With all those
Bustin'
bad
makes me
things-
feel good. So there.
Bustin'
you
makes
go.
me feel good.
You know what? It's all that matters. You know, at the end of the day, you get the feels from what you get the feels from.
I enjoyed it.
I-
and FYI,
Mm-hmm.
besides these two
Yep. Rage monsters.
poopy heads,
Yes.
other people I talked to just tonight
Yes.
actually really enjoyed the movie.
You know what? It doesn't surprise me. A lot of people like movies where there's no plot, really. The acting can be terrible. Doesn't matter who it is. That there's bloated characters, so many characters, there's no actual development. They have kids in Ghostbusters uniforms that are basically useless for the entire movie, and they just keep adding more characters, hoping they're going to try and find an audience. I
I'll
can
be
see why
honest with you.
people might
I'll
like
be
that.
honest with you. When I started writing my review, I was like, you know what? I might give this a meh. But as I'm writing it, I'm going over all the stuff that just annoyed the heck out of me. I was like,
Yep.
I can't
Stuff
give
annoyed
this
me
a meh.
too, but I got past it because I enjoyed
Well,
I enjoyed more of the movie than I
here's
did.
I think the difference is that you really like the franchise.
Yes, I love the franchise.
So that, you know what, that's okay. People who like franchise films, they're gonna have a kinder heart towards it.
And
For me,
and I thought that it should have stopped after 1.
yeah, me too. I think that would have been perfect.
Yep.
And that's where we'll disagree from there on in. So, if you like nostalgia and you like Stay Puffs and you like Kamal Nanjiani and you like Patton Oswalt, then this is the movie for you. But if you don't like those other things we talked about, then don't just wait till it comes out and rent it on a streaming service.
There you go.
Yeah. Immaculate. So we saw Immaculate.
Immaculate-ish.
Is
The
it-
Late Night with the Devil's
it-
next.
Devil next?
Sorry. Is it Late Night with the Devil next?
Yes.
You only wrote this.
Huh. I guess I did. Sorry. I guess we saw Late Night with the Devil next, which is actually next after we saw the other one. So yeah, it all makes sense.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So Late Night with the Devil.
In fact, you do have these in order.
I know.
That's the way we
of what
saw,
we
which
saw
we
them,
don't really
which
do that.
I
Right?
don't. No. So Late Night with the Devil is a period piece talk show in the 70s where David Dastmalchian plays a talk show host, and his last show on October 31st, he summons the devil. Well, he doesn't exactly, but he eventually shows up. Like all good things, some things just take time. And sometimes it's worth waiting for Satan. Dastmalchian does what he does best, play a character he has never played before, and does it fantastic. As does his version of Johnny Carson's Ed McMahon, Gus, played by Reese Terry. That guy, we'll talk more about him in a minute. The 70s period piece felt outstanding. It felt just like we were watching old YouTube video of any other talk show host from the 70s. The story takes time to build, and as does the characters. As our favorite polka dot man, whose show is kind of failing, tries to revive his show by bringing in some supernatural guests, like a skeptic, a medium, a possessed girl, and a psychic-friendly doctor. This film does take its time and has all kinds of slow, natural suspense. And if you can wait till the very end for the payoff, you are in for a real treat. Things get super fucked up. The devil makes an appearance, and shit goes bad for pretty much every single person that went to the talk show. I was kind of worried at the beginning as we got 10 production credits, where if we usually see more than 3, we know it's going to be an absolutely terrible film. So I thought perhaps if you go past 8 producers, maybe that's when things turn around and go the other way. I absolutely love this film. It was Mondo, and I got some unpacking, but what did you think, Brycey?
Late Night with the Devil is a very entertaining film that is very well acted and felt authentic when we were witnessing the, and I quote, original broadcast footage.
Hey, that's what I thought.
Where the film misfired.
What? No.
Was promising on things it could not possibly deliver.
What?
Part of the problem was the intro foreshadowed too much, and in my opinion, set an expectation that did not need to be set. I wish we could have jumped right into the broadcast, and we could have been more immersed in the experience. Plus, having the statement that this is the actual broadcast is great if your script can support following the rules that would entail. However, many liberties are taken with this throughout, especially in the hypnosis sections. Plus, who is taking this backstage footage? And why is it in black and white? Was someone wearing a spy camera and hiding behind a plant? As these characters say things that I guarantee they would not be saying if they knew they were being filmed. And if this was found footage, who seamlessly put it all together, along with the original broadcast. But if you can ignore all that, and that's a lot to ignore.
Not really.
Yeah, it kind of is. The performance by David Dastmalchian as Jack was excellent. The practical effects were fantastic.
Yes.
The creepiness of the film is palatable. The gore is well executed, and overall, even though I was annoyed by many of the things I have mentioned, I managed to force myself to stop overanalyzing and just sit back and enjoy this original and, for the most part, well executed bit of cinema. I enjoyed this a lot, but with all the problems I had with it, I can only give it a meh. Because there was too much. If you're gonna lay rules down at the very beginning of the movie,
like
and then
rules?
break them all, that this is an original broadcast, and then you're showing. Did you not watch the movie?
Yes, of course I did.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so,
you can't do that
Yeah.
and then absolutely spit in the face of what you've set up.
Yeah, no, I didn't take it that way, that the entire lineage of that film was that. I took it that they did have to edit it back together, because you're right. If if I thought that, then 100%. The film didn't make any sense.
Everything that was filmed in color was the original broadcast.
Yes.
That's what was set up.
Yes.
Okay. They didn't follow any rules. They got to a certain point and they're like, screw it. It was not well done in that respect. They needed to not have this from the original broadcast. They needed to film this in a totally different way if they were going to set it up that way. Because go watch it again. It's ridiculous, the stuff that it's ridiculous, the stuff that they say that you just have to forget about.
You're crazy.
You just loved a lot of this so much that you're willing to overlook some glaringly holes in this.
No, what I took was I took it as there was chunks within the film that was supposed to be the original film, and then they had to put it back together because the black and white stuff. No. They actually say we're going to show this in its entirety at the beginning of it. Do you not listen to when you're watching movies? Yeah, I absolutely listen to it. But I also thought, they're playing the entirety of that show.
Yes.
Because the show was not an hour and a half long.
They did, and they showed they showed the entirety of that show.
Is an hour,
and it's implied that every time it's in color, that is what was originally broadcast because that's how they made it look.
Yes.
Okay. Then you need to watch it again because there's so many.
I kind of want to watch it again.
And this time, Mondo. And this time, watch it with.
No. It was Mondo.
Anyways,
so
whatever.
You know what? I'm going to go buy this as soon as it comes on the shelf.
Absolutely.
And then I'm going to rewatch it.
There's so much good, and this could have been Mondo so easily had they not set up rules that they just blatantly broke for no reason.
It really was Mondo. Yeah. So
there was some Mondo stuff in it, but man, when you're that lazy. You set your own rules and you can't follow them. Yeah.
It didn't bother me.
Not impressed. Apparently it didn't bother you.
Not at all. I loved it.
Apparently
it was awesome.
It wasn't.
It was good. I loved it.
There you go.
All right, so we also saw Immaculate, and that was the next movie we got to see.
Yes. All right, Immaculate. Immaculate is not what I expected. With all the religious horror of late with exorcisms and devils and evil from other realms, I made the mistake of thinking this would be in that same category.
Wait, you forgot Russell Crowe on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Or scooter,
Still didn't make that movie a Mondo. Anyways, but I was glad that my assumption was wrong. Instead, we get a nun who must battle pure evil, but not the devil. She must confront something far scarier than Satan. She must go head to head with Catholic priests.
Yes, the most evil people on the earth.
And go against them she does, because you can't keep a good nun down. This had a slow build to an ultra satisfying ending, complete with a completely bonkers premise that has evil priests impregnating nuns with Jesus's DNA.
Jesus juice. With Jesus juice.
We get lots of gooey gore, dead babies, the toughest pregnant lady ever captured on film as she goes on a murderous rampage while she's in labor. This film kept gaining more and more momentum as it played out. I found myself enjoying it more and more and more as the film rolled on. So much, in fact, that Immaculate was Mondo.
Okay, before I talk about Immaculate, can we first talk about the elephant in the room? There was a lot of holes in Immaculate too, and you're going to be just like, oh, you know what? I can just overlook that.
But that was done. That was done. No. They didn't sit there and set up precise rules. This was completely. This was so ridiculous and completely bonkers. That's why this was entertaining. The other one set up rules. The other one is making it
the
like
other rules are always overlooked because it's bonkers.
The other one took.
Is that the reason?
The other one.
It's bonkers.
The other one took the same approach that Texas Chainsaw Massacre took. Okay.
Which is bonkers.
But it took it so that this happened. This is real. This is how this played out. This did not do that. This is just crazy and entertaining
there's
crazy.
A lot of crazy.
And it's not the same. You cannot compare those films anyway.
Okay.
The fact that you're even trying to just shows me that you got no clue on what's going on. Oh my God.
Well,
what is wrong with this gentleman?
We'll see about this. But let me tell you what I thought of Immaculate.
Yes.
So, kind of an updated Rosemary's Jesus Baby, but with nuns and priests and virgins. Oh my. Got to admit, I did take a little nap in this movie, but I can tell you...
I didn't.
But the finale of this was pretty freaking epic. Our Rosemary equivalent, Cecilia, played by Sydney Sweeney, who's normally terrible in everything, gets sweet revenge for getting her immaculately pregos and pretty much kills everyone, which her predecessors from the first scene in the movie completely got wrong. Don't try and escape out the front door. Just murder everyone.
Yeah.
That absolutely gets in your way. Or even if they're not in your way. If you seek them out to find them and then also murder them. And don't worry. If you're giving birth at the time.
No.
You've got baby birthing rage going on.
You know it.
Yeah, exactly. Who had... I guess I would want to say the fastest birth scene that's ever been in any movie ever. She just sits down and squats and pops out a baby.
Hey, she was going through labor that entire time she was killing folk.
Yeah, she was going through contractions, but anyway.
You don't know.
She did like 30 seconds of pushing and that made it all natural. And it was bonkers. I agree. It was completely bonkers. Don't try to sneak out. Just kill everyone. I liked what I got to see until I took a nap. So until further notice, or I see the portion of the middle that I fell asleep in, I'm giving the 7/8 of this film I saw a very high meh. Now, if I watch the 1/8 still and I get into the headspace of completely bonkers, then it might make it to a Mondo. But I didn't get... I never got there because I fell asleep.
Come on, priests impregnating nuns with Jesus' DNA.
With Jesus juice,
It's insane. It's so good.
So much Jesus juice. I did have some challenges. She can have her water break and run around killing everyone.
Who cares?
Between contractions.
Yes! It's fantastic.
But Murray, you would have loved the fact that this tough nun kicks ass and punches priest dick.
I don't know. As an ex-Catholic, I pretty much despise everything about the Catholic Church.
Well, then you would love this movie.
Then you would love this movie.
I don't want to see any movie that has to do with them.
I think that if Murray saw this movie, he would love it.
I heard it was good.
There's no subtitles either.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, yeah. Shh, don't tell him that.
They speak Italian in a lot of it.
Yeah, it's mostly Italian.
Not well.
Oh, really?
Some of it's
probably
Italian.
about a half.
The Catholic Church is Italian? No shit.
And maybe they spoke some Latin too. There was some Latin in there.
Maybe.
Sure.
All right, what else?
I tell you, in an hour and 29 minutes, perfect. Perfect. That's what these horror movies should be, not 2 hours.
Yeah, it was. The pacing was fantastic.
By the way, this is the first horror movie that I thought was actually a horror movie in a while too. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, good.
Which I was not. By the way, this is another one that I thought I was giving a man. Then as I'm kind of
working my way through it,
I was like, this was so much better than that.
Yeah. Now I got to watch the 1/8 I missed.
Yes.
All right, what else did we see?
We saw Exhuma.
Exhuma. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's you, I think, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. No, it says Jim.
Oh, I guess it's me. All right. Okay.
I did Immaculate.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me what this
We're
movie's
already
about.
like 7 movies in here. I'm already confused.
Tell me what this movie's about, because I know freaking
Okay,
idea.
so I find it funny that we see another Ghostbusting film on the same weekend. We got Korean Ghostbusters is also released, except Korean Ghostbusters doesn't have awful CGI and toy franchises to upkeep, like
True.
stupid marshmallow kids and a bunch of children that should be in school instead of fighting ghosts.
Whatever.
No, in Korean Ghostbusters,
It was a
we
summer.
have oh, there you go. We have deep, rich storytelling
That's a good point,
with folklore that is fascinating and complex. And to be honest, I wasn't following all the rituals, but man, they were interesting. Like what
There's
you got.
there's a lot going on in this.
There's a lot going on in this movie. Like what you got to do when you exhume a body. Where's a good place? What direction graves should face, and so on and so forth. This Ghostbusters story is about a group of highly trained shaman who work with families dealing with, as best as I can describe, hauntings by the past family members who, for whatever reason, don't like what's going on, and they decide to haunt them and sometimes kill them. They take a job together, as this job is way too big for one of them to handle, which turns out to be an understatement. The music in this was ominous. The story and lore in this film is super complicated, so much so I had no idea what the fuck was going on for most of the times, but it was truly, truly fascinating. I got fully pulled into the battle with an evil Japanese warrior who's been guarding this Korean land for 500 years. There was a few things that you kind of get from some of the supernatural Korean films, I want to say, that are sort of B-grade horror films from the 80s. But the story, characters, and concept is so interesting and creepy. I can tell you there is not really anything between this Ghostbusting film and the American Ghostbusting film that are similar in any other way other than one. Just like Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, none of the main characters die. Because you have already heard the franchise Ghostbusters was a rage. This one was a mondo. I love this movie. It was there's a lot that goes wrong in this movie.
You're like, I didn't even know what was going on, but I love this movie.
I did love this movie. See, this was bonkers to me. This is the kind of
it was bonkers. Yeah,
there was a lot of bonkers in this. And you know what? I was along for the ride for this bonkers because I didn't fall asleep through this one.
There you go. I may have dozed off for a minute or two.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, this is basically feng shui for graves with ghosts. I mean, it's a good cast. It's well acted. Atmosphere was great. Stunning, beautiful landscapes. Characters very well developed. I didn't hate it, but it was overly complicated, and
it was super
and
complicated.
while you were like, I don't know what's going on, but whatever, this is so cool. I was like, I wish I knew what was going on.
I would have been lost.
Oh, dude, I was lost. I'm never lost in movies.
I was just like, I don't.
But that's what made it
I
so
should know what's going on, but I just
ghosts. No idea. Watching the trailer, what it was about.
At the end of the day, it's still a ghost story. It's overly complicated. I mean, I can't argue that I was intrigued by a lot of it. There was a lot of stuff that was fascinating, but I was so lost for like 2/3 of this movie.
But that's what
and even when it resolved, I was still trying to go like, what?
No, that part made sense.
Well, it did, but like everything leading, like I was just like, I was dumbfounded by so much that was going on in it. And so much was going on in this movie.
There is so much going on
that I can't. It's a meh because
you know what? You gotta maybe watch it a couple times and maybe you'll get there. But you know what was so fascinating about this movie is the fact that it takes itself so seriously, and yet there is some bonkers shit that happens in this, and it's just like they just accept that every single person watching this fully understands Korean culture, and that that's where we're missing out. Yeah. Because our cinema was 100% filled with me and Bryce and probably 150 Koreans.
Yeah, of course.
And I think maybe that's why you couldn't get into it as much, because you don't know all the Korean folklore that was happening. See, it was just me. I was just like, okay, I don't understand why they're doing this, but this is fucking cool. Like, there's this dance, Marie, where they're gonna exhume this body, and they're not supposed to exhume the body, but they decide that they can try and do this particular spell to exhume this body. And so part of it is one of the characters, she has to do this really fucked up dance where she's going along slashing pigs' heads.
It's crazy.
sure
They got all these pig heads lined up, and she's just going by, and she's just slicing them.
Dancing and slicing.
And it's just like, what?
It was so cool. But that's what was so neat about it. I'm like, you know what? Now I know how to do that. I can go to Korea and exhume bodies. It was so awesome.
Yeah, pig
Okay,
heads.
and I wasn't going to bring this up, but there's one thing. I mean, I was so confused that I might even be wrong,
You were.
but I was totally confused. But they had stuff simultaneously happening in the United States and Korea at some point.
Yep.
And it was both at night. And I don't think that's how it works. I don't think when it's night here, it's night there.
Well, Korea, I don't know what the time change is, but
think
it could
so.
be night
16
and
hours?
first thing
I
morning.
don't think
It could
so.
be winter because winter has
I
less
don't think
less
so.
has less.
I
summertime.
think that's a pretty big goof there.
You know what? You might need to look up the time changes
Maybe I will.
because in the winter. We're not going to look it up now, but you know maybe you know what you couldn't understand half the movie anyway. So
yeah, as I
it's
say,
not
I
gonna
was so
help you.
confused that I was like,
It's not going to help.
I'm
you.
like, who cares? But initially, I was like, how can it be night in Korea if it's night in California? Like, what? Huh?
it's not that far away from each other.
16 hours.
16 hours is, yeah.
For 50
Yeah, so
hours
it
a
totally
month.
could be if it's the next day.
That 8-hour spread. No, we're not. You
In the winter,
No,
I think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong.
You know what? Science doesn't know nothing.
Anyways.
This is ghost magic.
I don't even know why I brought it up because it's really has nothing to do with how I felt about this movie. But it's just one little thing where I was like, well, just one other thing that kind of just confused me, just to add on to the stuff I wasn't understanding anyways. But it was still enjoyable somewhat.
I love this.
It was
movie.
also frustrating
I loved
somewhat.
a lot of the I loved a lot of the horror this weekend.
There you go.
Now I got to rewatch that 1/8 of Immaculate, so I
Yes.
can maybe get to the same point.
Yeah, you
were.
actually missed kind of a really interesting part where you learn all about
Jesus
the
juice.
Jesus juice.
Like, and I know I woke up and I'm like, hey, what did I miss? He
And
says,
then
"You
I
missed
told
the Jesus
him,
juice."
I was like, he's like, wow, damn.
Damn, why didn't you wake me up? Ah.
I didn't know that was gonna happen.
Yeah, had I known that,
It's like, wow.
probably wouldn't have slept.
It was so good. I really enjoyed that movie.
All right, well, the last movie that we saw
Oh,
was a special event that we were invited to.
Yes, we just saw.
And it's called Riddle of Fire. And guess what? You're actually up this time.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Riddle of Fire.
Yes.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. It was.
I
Keep
laughed.
going.
I laughed a lot.
Yes.
Some kids, they want to bake a blueberry pie.
That is the main part.
That is the
main plot point.
That's the main
apparently.
plot. And in order to bake this blueberry pie, they need a special egg, a speckled egg.
It's not that
Because
special. It's
no
just
other type of egg will do. It's got to be speckled for some reason, which I don't understand.
And
but-
it didn't even go into the mix.
Well, no, it's a part of the wash. That's absolutely. You don't have egg in a blueberry pie. That's disgusting.
So I was even
Having egg in anything is disgusting. But even when I wasn't vegan, you don't put it in. It was for the wash so that you got
It
that
turns it
nice
brown.
crusty brown crust.
Yeah.
At any rate.
Murray's never baked a pie.
I have. I just don't see the point.
You've never done the egg wash?
If you're making a pie out of the fruit, you just need the fruit and the pie shell.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, and
then on the
There's
top
no
of the
eggs
pie
on the
shell.
top, you
There's
wash
no eggs.
the
Yeah,
top
Yeah, you
with
wash the
egg
top
so
so
you
it
get the
browns
nice
it nicely
brown.
and crusty.
Yeah. Never happened.
So anyway, they wanted a speckled egg.
At any
Yep.
rate, so then they go and some stuff happens, and you know what? It was okay.
So it was meh.
It was meh.
Oh.
Alright.
It was I loved the shooting style. I loved the first like 45 minutes of it, and then it waned, and the ending wasn't that satisfying for me. I really enjoyed a lot of it, and I thought the kids were, for kids, they were pretty hilarious. It was pretty well cast, even though they weren't the greatest kid actors ever, but they were perfect for what this movie was. I really did enjoy it a lot, but it's a meh.
All right. Murray, what'd you think of Riddle of Fire?
Well, those people who actually want to know what the movie is actually about.
There you
It's
go.
about a
gonna tell
blueberry
you.
pie.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. That's all it was about. It was like kids wanted to make a
It's
blueberry
got-
pie for their sick mom. Done.
That's beside the point.
No, that's the whole movie.
No, it's not. It really isn't.
All right. Well, what is the? What
It's
is? Tell us
basically
what.
3 mischievous kids who ride around on dirt bikes and cause trouble and apparently steal stuff from everybody.
Yes.
And yeah,
They're just kids.
in order to play the video game, they have to do something for their mother, which is to find a blueberry pie, which they have trouble because apparently you need a speckled egg for some stupid reason.
For the egg wash on the top
and
of the
yeah,
pie.
they crossed the wrong people. So, yeah,
I don't know, worked out for 'em.
I actually do agree with Bryce. A
What?
little.
Let's get
Even,
this.
even though I was basically incoherent with my review.
Well, yeah, I enjoyed the first half of the movie.
yes.
Yes.
Jody freaking loved him. He was so incoherent they had to subtitle him because you didn't know what the hell he was saying. He was either mumbled or else he wasn't making sense. The other kids, you can understand them, but apparently he had to have an interpreter.
That was actually kind of
And I
genius.
freaking loved him.
Yep.
He was the best part of the movie, bar none.
All right.
I will.
But yeah, when it was these 3 kids causing trouble and getting into mischief, I love that part. And then all of a sudden, there's the Charles Manson gang. Like, I don't know what the hell all that magic crap was about, and I'm like, she puts a voodoo spell on her own family.
Yes.
It probably doesn't work on anybody else, just her own family. And yeah, like I don't know, they're basically poachers, trying to kill this mysterious deer.
Wow.
And you know what? I'm sorry, but a deer is not
So they can do some taxidermy.
a deer is not the king of the forest.
But if it's the biggest deer that's ever been,
It's still an herbivore.
it was actually an elk.
There are so many carnivorous creatures that would kill that deer. Those are the real kings of the forest. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, the first hour I enjoyed it a lot because
Yes.
it was funny and
It was funny.
I enjoyed that. And then it got really dark and it just went to a place I didn't really want to see. And then it just dragged. The last half hour just dragged. And I'm
It
like,
was a
oh my
little
God, when is this going to end? Like, I know how it's going to end because I've seen these they're not going to, well, basically kill these kids as much as they threatened to pretty much the last half of the movie. I mean, but yeah, like, okay, when is the big plot device going to happen to get them out of trouble? Because right up until the end, I'm like, okay, what the hell's, like, there's no happy ending
All I
here.
was doing is like, are they going to get this blueberry pie made or what?
Yeah.
That's all I could think about.
And yeah, they spent all freaking night trying to get one egg, and
So-
yeah, and the one kid was
Just so they can wash the crust with egg.
whatever. You could use any egg for that.
No, it's got to be speckled
No,
egg.
it doesn't.
They had to make the recipe exact of what they got.
Yeah,
as the one-
otherwise it won't be as good.
And as the one kid basically said at the end of the movie, we should have gone to that place by Nacho Mamas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not Joe
Then
Mama.
they would have avoided all that trouble.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have got this movie.
Yes, it would have been a different movie.
It would have been a better movie.
Ooh, better.
If you cut about 45 minutes out and just had them finding this stuff for the pie and then escaping from the bad guys and then getting the pie at the end. That's all I needed. But yeah, it was a mess. It was all right.
Okay.
I
There you
mean,
go.
I mean, much as I love my cough, a lot of their movies are not really tailored to me because they get a little weird.
Because you love Ghostbusters.
And this one just got a little weird in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, it was up until an hour in, then it got weird, and then I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, I was enjoying it up until that point.
Yeah, no, makes sense. The ultimately this movie is about the 3 kids and their mischievous behaviors.
It's about
but these
baking
are
a blueberry pie. I don't know what movie you were watching.
that is the ultimate plot of the
And if
story.
they had kept it
But-
as a movie about these kids being,
They just
mischievous
needed
and
to focus
precocious,
more on the
but
blueberry pie.
They didn't need to bring all those adults into it because all
Yeah.
the adults are morons. You didn't need any of them in it.
So what I thought about this was the fact that they have these kids. They're the most resourceful kids that have ever existed on the planet.
I don't know.
The dialogue that these kids have,
Kleptomaniacs.
almost every line of dialogue, I was laughing at. This was their dialogue alone was so funny, and the way they would riff off each other. It
Yeah.
felt like if the 3 of us were back when we were 10 years old. being mischievous.
And you know what
this video game of
what
Pong.
the most amazing part was?
What?
These kids actually went outside and they played outside.
Well,
Yeah.
they were forced to.
Because that don't happen anymore.
Because they needed to make the pie.
Yes.
That's the only reason they were outside.
No,
They
they
wanted
were driving
to
around
stay-
their motorbikes too.
Yeah, but they were just that was so
Of course,
that
if I
they
lived
could,
in Wyoming,
just
I
so
wouldn't
they
be
could
inside
so they
either,
could
'cause-
steal the video game system.
The thing about this too is the
Wow,
kids.
a lot happened in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen in this movie. These kids are living
Maybe
in a
it
bit
wasn't
of a...
just about blueberry pie. Maybe
No,
it was
it
about
really
more than
wasn't.
that.
Yeah, it maybe was.
Nah, it was just about the blueberry pie.
So the idea about these kids is it is a fantasy film because within the kids they're living in a fantasy, and then they actually at the same time there's witchcraft that's being done by this other Manson gang, as Murray had
Witchcraft,
said.
whatever.
Yeah, so
Yes.
the things that are amazing about this film is definitely the kids and how they react to everything. The other things that are amazing about this is the music. The music in this and their theme music throughout has that real what's the word? Kind of middle ages type feel to the music, which kind of adds to the feeling, and even the script that they
it was obvious they were going for a whole Knights on a Quest kind of a theme.
That was what it was. The whole movie was a quest movie. Originally I thought it was a heist movie, but then it turned into a quest movie because they basically steal from everywhere they go.
Yep.
And they're just the most resourceful kids you would ever meet. The best, I completely agree with both of what you guys said. I think the first half of this movie was so funny and so amazing. And if they could have found a way to transition it so that it didn't feel so slumpy in the middle and then be so predictable at the end, this could have been one of the greatest adventure movies like you would see in Goonies or one of those other ones from when kids are younger.
Mm-hmm.
There is a couple of F-bombs that are dropped, so I'm not sure if this
there were
would
a couple
be...
of 11-year-olds right in front of me watching it.
Yeah, of course. They probably loved it.
Of course.
Oh, Mommy, there's an F-bomb.
We also watched a trailer for another movie that's coming to Cuff where some band where the lead singer is basically naked on stage all the time.
Yeah, that was...
They got their money's worth tonight, those kids.
Yeah, those 11-year-olds got a treat for sure. Up until the very end scene of the movie where I was like, you know what? I like this movie a lot. It was fun.
Oh
But-
God!
but
Just
then-
because of this
But
freaking.
then
music.
because they ended the movie
Oh my God!
with the theme
and you
music
tell me
from
I give
Cannibal
Mondos for
Holocaust.
stupid reasons.
Because they ended it with the theme song from Cannibal Holocaust.
That's a Mondo for
It
you?
made me laugh so hard that I have to say it was still a man. But
Okay.
but I still loved the ending. Like that ending with Cannibal Holocaust theme
Let's
music.
not forget the 10-minute dancing with
And the 10-minute dancing,
Dance Fever
there's a
or
lot
whatever.
about this that's fun. Like, this is a high meh for me. Like,
Yeah.
I did find it was slumpy.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
most of it, but yeah, in the middle part, I'm like, I just want it to be over.
It could have got a little weirder. I think if it went weirder, it could have got to Mondo for me.
Yeah, it wasn't weird enough for you.
Yeah.
And it was still
That's
too
what I
weird
would
for-
say.
It was still too weird for me.
So, you know what? It sounds like it was unanimous.
Oh yeah, I guess it was.
Apparently, this is the only movie that we agreed on this week.
Apparently.
I've never noticed Leo Tipton's ears before this movie. She's got some great ears.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Probably an ear
Leo
model.
Tipton is a they.
They're probably an
Because
ear
I
model.
read the bio and they use the word they all the way through it. But yeah, this person has been in a lot of stuff that I recognize. But
Nice.
I did recognize. She kind of reminded me.
They
reminded me a bit of Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I got a little
Like
feel
long
from that.
hair. Yeah, kind of the same creepy vibe.
Yeah,
but
I got
anyway.
that.
Yeah, it was
dig
all right.
it.
I mean, it wasn't.
It was a good
horrible.
time. You know what? The
It
Cuff
wasn't
delivers good stuff.
Yeah.
And people should still see this movie in cinemas because it's visually got some great scenery
Yeah,
and the music along.
And the kids are gosh darn cute.
Yep, they're pretty amazing. This is a fun movie. People should see
Yeah,
it.
it is.
All right.
Oh, baby.
Do we have a happier Murray this
Well,
week?
apparently I creeped out Bryce a bit last week.
Yeah, creep me out
My
too.
rage, but it was well founded, and
right.
I stand by it.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. This week, one of the movies these guys went to starred David Dastmalchian,
Yep,
whatever,
Dastmalchian.
who is really good at playing creepy dudes.
Yes, he is.
I kind of wish I had seen this movie, Late Night with the Devil. Unfortunately, it was playing at a theater I will never set foot in again.
Yes, that's
We-
last
you-
week's.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Yep.
If it was playing anywhere else,
Yes.
I would've
Okay.
gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just saying. Just wanted to reiterate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
Anyway, I
Got it
thought
last week.
I'd do a tribute to other actors who are really good at being creepy.
Oh, my creep crush list. I love
Your
it.
creep crush, they're probably all on it. Yes.
All right.
Starting off with the Skarsgård. That would be Bill.
Oh, the best Skarsgård?
While he's not my favorite
He's my
Skarsgård, he's definitely the creepiest.
I fucking love that Skarsgård.
It's not easy to take over the role of
They're all
Pennywise from the iconic Tim Curry. Skarsgård perfectly captured the creepiness of Pennywise and made the part entirely his own.
He did.
He can morph his face into the most sinister expressions.
Yes.
Next up, another scary Scandinavian, Mads Mikkelsen. He is very good at blending charm and creepiness. Of course, people who watch TV will know him from Hannibal.
Oh.
His stoic expression and soft inflection can send chills down anyone's
And he's
spine.
one of the most gorgeous men that's ever walked the face
he's
of the
pretty
earth.
good looking.
He is.
Then we have Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz has a way of making every character he plays unnerving through
That's
his
true.
mannerisms and wit.
Yeah.
His incredible scene in Glorious Bastards with his soft-toned, menacing smile and intimidating energy, he has the entire audience on edge. Apparently he also played a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bond, Javier Bardem is the master of being creepy. His iconic appearance in No Country for Old Men,
Yeah.
his sinister
Yes.
Bond villain in that one Daniel Craig movie I saw.
Nice.
With his deadpan voice and 1,000-yard stare, he brings chills to anyone who watches him.
He sure does.
Jack Nicholson. Jackie Boy has a menacing grin and distinctive voice that exemplifies creepy. His Joker created a chilling impression that has become the standard for that character's personality. He has played some of the most iconic characters in film history, like his role in The Shining and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Also, we have Malcolm McDowell, who is just so good in The Clockwork Orange.
Absolutely.
And of course, Crispin Glover.
That's my boy.
Just a weird dude who's memorable in everything he does.
He's so creepy.
His unique facial features have creeped out moviegoers in the best way possible. And Willem Dafoe. While other actors simply play creepy characters, he completely embodies them. He has a unique ability to unsettle audiences. He's very good at getting reactions from his performances. His lecherous roles make us want to take a shower, and his evil soul makes us want to run and hide. That smile of his, like his goblin from Spider-Man, is enough to drive fear into the hearts of anybody watching. And finally, the aforementioned David Dastmalchian, whatever. Last Voyage of the Demeter,
Dastmalchian?
whatever his name is. Oh, you guys both said it differently, so
Dastmalchian.
whatever.
I don't think that's what you said.
Yeah.
Dastmalchian?
Oh, you guys said it differently, so I don't know how to say it.
Dastmalchian.
Dastmalchian.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Last Voyage of the Demeter, Oppenheimer, The Boogeyman,
Yes.
Dune,
Yes.
The Suicide Squad,
Yes.
Blade Runner 2049,
Yes.
The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Yes.
When I think of creepy dudes in film, I think of this guy.
You know, you missed my number 2 favorite creep crush of all times, Elijah Wood, who always brings the
consider
creep.
him creepy. He's colorful, but
You did you see Sin City? He's the creepiest character
he's
that's
still
ever been created.
Still the Hobbit dude.
Yeah, also creepy.
That's the one that creeped me out the most, to be honest.
Actually, you want creepy, the good son. Really creepy. Him and Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah,
Macaulay.
So good.
yeah.
Anyway.
Elijah
The
Wood.
worst of the Culkin actors.
Yeah,
I'm
true
glad
that.
for her. Anyway, that's all I got.
That was a good list. It was creepy.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
sweet, sweet rage. Oh, I love you so. All right, well, I wasn't expecting to actually ever see this movie because I was a little... When I saw it was coming out, I originally thought, you know what? I'm never going to see that movie. But on the weekend, I had time to myself, doing nothing. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to watch the new reimagining of Roadhouse. So
You did not.
I did. I said, you know what? I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I think he's pretty awesome because I had just watched a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal in it, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. And I thought, man, I really like Jake Gyllenhaal. I've always liked Jake Gyllenhaal. So I said, you know what? I'm going to watch Roadhouse. Yeah, that movie's terrible. So then I thought to myself, okay, I seem to remember thinking that the first Roadhouse was also terrible.
Yeah, you probably also hated the first one.
So I thought, you know what? I got to now find out which one is more awful.
Oh.
So I actually went back and watched the original Roadhouse, which is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It is so pathetic. It's awful. Like how anybody could like this movie.
I loved it.
It's so awful, Murray. It's so terrible. And it doesn't hold up to anything in
Oh, no, it's
in
totally
now.
80s. It doesn't hold up
It
to-
is so bad. The whole story is written terrible. And then on top of that, like, and then they redo it. It was just, you know what? The whole 4 hours experience made me sick to my stomach. I actually went and decided to eat something that would make me vomit just so I could get it out of my stomach. It was destroying the stomach acids in my gullet. It was terrible. Have you seen it lately?
What, Roadhouse?
The Roadhouse.
Yeah, every time it's on TV.
What?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
It's awful.
It's one of Swayze's best work.
Ugh.
I absolutely love Swayze.
I didn't even know that's a thing.
Yeah, there isn't a thing. Swayze doesn't have best work. He has equally awful work.
Yeah, so that was my rage this week. Roadhouse 2.
And I pretty much told you it was going to be terrible. And I loved the first one. I knew this one was going to be horrible.
Actually, the second one was better than the first one
And
because it had Jake Gyllenhaal.
I mean, they
in
got
it.
Conor McGregor in it. For
Yeah,
God's
he was
sakes.
awesome. Actually, Conor McGregor made it better. He was evil.
Mm-hmm.
But the movies,
Well,
they're both terrible.
He is evil.
Yeah, nice. That was my rage.
Okay, then.
There you go.
Roadhouse.
So, over the past week, you know, I was thinking, you know what, this could be my rage, and then I'm like, you know what, no, this will be my rage. And then I got to like when I was gonna write down what my rage was, and there was like 3 things that in the moment was like seriously was making me rage. I can't remember any of them. I honestly have no idea. And I had 3 of them.
You forget what your rage is.
I have no idea what my rage
was
is.
one of them? Remember earlier in the podcast when
Yeah. You're
was
actually
disagreeing
making
with
me
you?
rage a little
Yeah,
bit
that's-
because you're absolutely ridiculous with you just ignoring the most obvious things for the sake of whatever. And then arguing that that's not the way it was when it absolutely was the way it was.
No, it was okay.
But
I'm just trying to push you to your rage level. Because
Nah.
usually when you get to a level of rage, you can remember your other
I
rages.
just could
I'm just
not-
trying to help you out.
I can't remember anything.
I'm okay with that.
you know what? Go back to Ghostbusters.
Wow. I mean,
What a doubt, bring
I
it
guess
up.
at the end of the day, I mean,
I believe he's
my
worth
rage
the-
is Ghostbusters. My
I believe
rage
he's
is
word used lazy about 10 times tonight, so
Yeah,
maybe,
well,
maybe lazy writing is your rage.
Ghostbusters was lazy. Absolutely.
There you go.
So,
that it?
So that was terrible.
Yeah,
but
let's
you
move
know
on.
what?
Yes, let's move on, please.
Before I make Murray
Rage.
cry because badmouth Ghostbusters more.
Pulse. Slowing. Anger fading.
Oh, the lists. If you're listening to us for the first time, go to our website, filmrageyyc.com, and look for the lists page, where you will find 5 lists. There is the Mesmerized.
That's a lot of lists.
There's a lot of lists. There's the Mesmerized. There's the Repulsive. There's the Doubted and the Undoubted.
Mesmerized, Repulsive.
Oh,
Doubted,
and
Undoubted.
then finally the people who were mesmerizing or repulsive but have been removed. But of course, we haven't removed anybody repulsive left. They're all still repulsive. So before we talk about the movie that Murray got us to watch last week, The Sisters Brothers,
yes,
I am still reeling or raging about Kate Hudson and her acting.
Yes.
She is the most repulsive person I've ever seen on a movie screen in my life. So I want to put Kate Hudson up as repulsive.
I'm wrestling with this because there is one movie that and the rule is she's got to be repulsive in everything.
Yep.
I don't know that she was repulsive in.
Well, do you have to watch it again?
For crying out loud, it's movies left me.
Well, while we're waiting, we can ask Murray because if
the
he
Richard
loves Kate
Linklater
Hudson,
movie.
Because if Murray loves Kate
I don't
Hudson,
know which one that is.
Okay, now I gotta look it up.
Well,
because Murray could just kibosh it. Because if he loves Kate Hudson,
but now I need to
no,
know.
I wouldn't say I love Kate Hudson. I enjoy her as a person. She's very funny.
Okay,
But yeah, I mean, she did way too many rom-coms.
Almost Famous. That's what I'm trying to think.
That wasn't Linklater. That was Cameron.
That was Cameron Crowe.
Cameron Crowe. Yeah, and as scary as it may sound,
because he wrote for Rolling Stone.
That
it
is
it was almost like a biopic of him.
That's actually the one movie I do like her in as well.
Oh.
And that's the thing. As Penny Lane,
that movie was awesome.
She was good as Penny Lane.
She was awesome.
All right, well, I had to put it out in the universe.
Everything else, I got no problem with putting it on the list.
And it's this is actually kind of dumb because that's the rule though. They got to be repulsive like all the time, and she is.
Except this
for one role.
Well, you know what? That doesn't make her repulsive all the time, unfortunately.
So, yeah.
Well, at least it's out in the universe. People know my feelings on Kate Hudson.
Why did I think that was directed by Richard Linklater?
I don't know. Who knows?
I'm getting old.
So we watched The Sisters Brothers, which was a pleasant treat for me, actually. I remember when I saw this originally.
I'm going to tell you.
I thought it was okay.
I thought it was okay, too. I watched it, and I was like, it was okay. It's, everybody was kind of good in it. It was a well-acted movie, beautifully shot, but it was just okay.
Yeah.
And then I watched it last
week. With
week.
new eyes.
And holy crap, that's a good movie.
Yeah, it was Mondo.
That was super Mondo. Yeah. I love that movie.
Yeah, this movie was so good.
I did not remember loving that movie, but I watched it again, and I don't know what was wrong with me that night. Maybe I was annoyed at something. I don't know.
That happens to you a lot.
I was just
You're
not in the right
annoyed.
mood. I don't know, but it was so good.
Yeah, I agree.
So good.
So so we were asked because both Joaquin Phoenix and Riz Ahmed are both on our Mesmerized list. So ultimately the Mesmerized off was between the two of them.
Yep.
And I'm going to say, I mean, Riz Ahmed was solid in the role that he was in. He did a solid job. I felt Joaquin Phoenix
are such a sucker for these chewing up the scenery guys.
Okay, chewing up the scenery guys. Bite your tongue for a bit, bitch.
Uh-huh.
So Joaquin Phoenix character was a little wackadoo.
Yeah.
But I am actually proposing. No,
okay.
I'm proposing John C. Reilly out mesmerized the two of them. And there's no way in hell that you can argue that. He was brilliant in this movie.
He was
out mesmerized.
So was Riz Ahmed.
No, Riz Ahmed.
He definitely.
Riz Ahmed did not meet the even the scene when John C. Reilly and Riz Ahmed are together in that scene. Riley destroyed Ahmed.
No.
Totally, dude. You're just holding on to.
No, I'm not holding on to anything. This guy has the most expressive eyes in the business. And he was amazing in this role. And just because he didn't get to ham it up,
I'm not saying he has to ham. The role didn't require him to ham it up.
No,
but they also didn't require Riley's character to ham it up.
No,
and he was brilliant through the entire movie.
He was brilliant, but he wasn't as brilliant as Riz Ahmed.
Ugh.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sad, but now I want to put John C. Reilly on.
But now I can't agree because he didn't out mesmerize Riz Ahmed, so I can't do it.
You're the worst.
Sorry.
All right. Well, we didn't
Oh,
lose
that's a
anybody,
draw,
Murray.
is it?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
lost. We did.
He was trying to eliminate everybody.
Okay, wait. Can we not agree that Joaquin Phoenix wasn't in the same category as the two of them, though? I mean, we should be able to still get rid of him.
But that's not how this works.
I know.
You're always trying to make up
I'm
rules.
trying to get rid of people.
You're trying to do exactly
I'm
what
trying-
Late Night with the Devil did
My list
and
is
make
like
up
half
rules.
A page now.
Oh,
You've got rid of a
nice.
lot of people.
Nice. Well, I'm still trying
There's
to get
almost
rid of
nothing
more.
left.
Eventually, we only want one person.
Now I
on
see
there.
why you liked Late Night with the Devil, because the rules just don't apply with
They
Jim.
don't exactly. Don't make me talk about Immaculate again.
So good.
Where the Immaculate
I
part,
could talk about
where the Immaculate part was the fact that she could do all that when she's giving birth.
Yeah, which was awesome.
You're bonkers. All right,
Anyways.
well, we didn't lose anybody, which
It
kind of
happens.
sucks.
Well, whatever.
Moving on.
Moving on, baby.
All right. Well, like I said, my list is pretty small now. I don't have a lot to go on anymore.
All right. Would you have anything?
So let's tee up Riz Ahmed again.
Ah.
I've been saving this one because there's like
But
a
who's
bunch
in
of
it with him?
Mads Mikkelsen.
Ooh.
You know the movie I'm thinking about.
I don't know.
It would be Jim's favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, Rogue One.
Oh,
And
okay.
having seen this a few times, I guarantee you they're probably in it for the exact same amount of time.
Oh, yeah. So we have to watch a Star Wars movie?
Not in it together, but
Not-
they're definitely in the same a length of time.
Not a Star Wars movie, the best Star Wars movie.
Oh, it's Rogue One?
Yeah.
Yes, Rogue One.
Oh, didn't I just watch Rogue One?
I don't know. You may
Yeah,
have,
why
but
did we? We did watch
don't
it
know
for
why
some
you watched
reason.
We just watched it recently, I thought.
no. Those two were in it together.
Oh, okay. I thought we watched it.
Yeah, we did, but I don't know why.
It's on every long weekend on TV, but you wouldn't get that. So
I have TV.
you don't watch. You only watch sports.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's right.
I forgot.
Yeah, you forgot. Because you can't bet on Rogue One, so there's no point in watching it for you.
Well, he
I
can
don't-
bet on who's going to be more mesmerizing, I guess.
Anyway,
Nice.
that's all I got.
Last week on Rage or Dare, our prehistoric Neanderthals pulled the 1998 reimagining of Godzilla from my evil bag of remakes, starring none other than Punky Brewster. Nope, wait, that's not it. It's Ferris Bueller. Bueller. This week, it's all about baby boy Bryce as he gets to choose whether to rage or dare. But now let's check in with our little monkey men and find out if ice skating Godzilla babies and a P. Diddy Jimmy Page collab on the soundtrack are enough to save this mostly forgotten version of Godzilla. Or, like I thought when I put it in my bag, no, it most definitely is not.
All right. Now you talk about the skating Godzilla babies.
And
But
appropriately, the new one is coming out this
there were
weekend.
no skating Godzilla babies. I remember it so vividly. But they just kind of slip around in the hallway.
Yeah, they're useless.
I remember them on the ice for some reason. Why do I remember that?
Well, because they're at the
Madison Square Garden.
Ice
yeah, but
Madison
they're
Square Gardens.
apparently they're there during like basketball because we got a lot of basketballs all over the place, and apparently the Knicks were in town.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
All right, Godzilla from 1998, starring Matthew Broderick and directed by Roland Emmerich. I am not sure that this was actually Godzilla, although that old Japanese dude was convinced, as you know, when he was asked what he saw, he did say Gojira. Gojira. But if that was indeed Godzilla, man, has he been working out. Check out those well-developed calves and those toned abs. This isn't your grandfather's Godzilla. This is one lean, sexy beast. Plus, he can reproduce asexually like nobody's business.
Nobody's business.
There are so many baby Godzillas in this. And while much of this film may be rage-inducing, I personally find it hard to rage with so many adorable baby Godzillas running around. They are freaking adorable. And they make this whole endeavor watchable. I love me some baby Godzillas. I don't even need to talk about anything else in the film because they were baby Godzillas and they were adorable. So Godzilla 1998, based on the baby Godzillas, was a meh.
Okay, can
You also like
can
the
you
Marshmallow
please
Man,
can
so-
I please have you? I know this is tough for you sometimes.
Okay.
but can you actually review the movie itself?
They're baby Godzillas.
Nobody's
They made
asking
me happy.
you. There's no one's asking you.
Godzilla made me happy because there were baby Godzillas. That makes it a meh. That is the most concise. What am I going to talk about? There's
You
some
know what my
ridiculous
rage is going to be next week? Your decisions to make terrible movies a meh just because they throw in baby fucking Godzilla.
I mean, there was some. I'm not saying it was all beautiful. That's why it's not a Mondo. But there were baby Godzillas, so that makes it meh.
Okay.
I mean, having Kevin Dunn play a colonel was ridiculous. I mean, he's this dumpy dude. I don't know how the hell they cast him as that. John Reno was completely wasted in this. Hank Azaria was completely wasted in this. I have no idea why you would even cast Matthew Broderick in this role. I mean, there's some stuff in here that's not great. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is there were baby Godzillas.
Okay, well, let me tell you what I thought of this shithole.
Plus, there was some clever stuff. There was Mayor Ebert and his assistant, Gene. That's clever. It's Siskel and Ebert.
Okay, so one thing for sure, the Greek racism comments about Matty Broderick's name wasn't funny the first time they did it. Yet, every single time they did it, it was
Nico.
also not funny.
Nico Tatopoulos.
Being racist against Greek people, who are some of my favorite people, is not funny.
I don't know that.
And
it
the
was
casting
racist.
in
It
this
just making
was
fun of his
weird.
name.
Vicki Lewis and her flirting with Broderick, which was awkward and terrible through the entire movie. The FX in this is beyond pathetic. In particular, the giant foot almost squishing Hank Azaria made me laugh for 5 minutes because it was so pathetic. There are tons of big names in this film. Well, maybe not big,
tons.
but let's say grade B TV actors from the 90s. They seem to have a bit of identity crisis on the comedy, the love story, and then try to fit in a Godzilla story in there was way too much for this story. Hank Azaria and Jean Reno were good, but the rest of the cast seemed a little out of place. Plus, there appears to be too many storylines and are trying to follow and not putting enough attention on
the baby
the
Godzillas.
star of the show, which is the baby Godzillas.
Yes.
Maybe that was because Godzilla was too fake looking for them to put attention on him
He's been
through the
working
entire
out, man.
movie. It did have Godzilla babies and an old Japanese man saying
Godzilla.
Godzilla, Godzilla many, many times. So, no, this isn't a Bryce. This is a Mondo. It has Japanese guy saying Godzilla.
Godzilla and baby Godzilla.
And it's got baby Godzilla.
I put those both in my review.
This is by far the best Godzilla. It's not. It's the worst Godzilla movie ever. This is a slog. And I actually fell asleep twice trying to watch this. Two different times because it's so terrible.
That's
the
crazy.
CGI, blue or green, I couldn't tell which type of fake screen was on the back, but it was obvious through the entire movie. Plus, every single scene in this is pretty much unwatchable, and every single person in this is annoying except for the two character actors that I actually mentioned. Plus, they have chandeliers that drop from the sky, and it allows our heroes to just walk past the Godzilla babies.
Because they're shocked by the big noise.
No, because they were shocked by a lot of stuff, and they still ate every single person that they came in contact, except for our stars, Murray.
Just the other day, some icicles fell from my roof, and my little puppy dog, he was freaked out by that.
Your dog isn't a Godzilla baby that eats people.
Baby, they are fresh baby Godzillas, and if a chandelier falls, they are gonna stay clear.
Yeah.
That totally made sense.
No, because then they stepped forward, and then they were right beside them, and they're like,
they step forward, and they're like, I better keep my distance because
then maybe a chandelier will fall on you, or a house with your ruby slippers. Yeah, this was the worst Godzilla movie that has ever been made. It should be forgotten and lit on fire.
There have been some pretty bad Godzilla movies. This wasn't the worst.
No, this was by far the worst.
No.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick should not be in a Godzilla movie.
The first time we see the baby Godzilla, the first time he rears his head in the original ones, the Japanese ones.
Those are adorable. That's the cutest of all the baby Godzillas.
No, it is not. That is a bad movie, man.
I think it's time for you to choose from this succulent bag.
I would, but I believe it is your turn this week,
No, it
Jim.
is not. Start picking, mister.
Okay, what am I picking? I have to pick
I
from
had
your bag?
fool. Yeah. Well, sure. Because I have it in front of you.
Fine. Holy crap, there's a lot in here.
I know. I filled it up.
I need to fill mine up.
No, don't. I'll just have to keep.
I
taking
still have nothing into mine.
I know.
I don't know which to pick.
So next week.
There's too many
It'll
to
be-
pick from. Okay,
I know.
I think I've got one.
All right.
I got one?
Yeah.
Got one?
Maybe.
All right, here we go. I will be watching, although I'd like to check the tapes and make sure that it actually is my turn, and if it
It's
isn't, I
obvious
won't
it's
be
your
watching
turn.
it. But something from 2020. Well, it's fresh. I don't even know what this is. Did I watch? I don't think I've watched this. Did I watch this?
What is it?
It's called Disturbing the Peace. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's one of those really crappy comedies with some horrible actor in it.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to say Martin Lawrence, but I don't think it is.
Oh, I hope it's not. I
You
don't.
love Martin Lawrence.
No, I actually don't. I believe he is on our repulsive list. Disturbing the Peace. Is that
It's Guy Pearce,
and Devon Sawa?
Devon Sawa, who you also love.
I have seen
Plus,
this.
it's got Kelly Grayson.
This is not a comedy.
Yeah.
I have seen this.
Yeah.
I have seen this.
Yes.
It was like I was like, oh, Devon
Enjoy.
Sawa's still alive. Huh.
Enjoy it. You're gonna love it.
I don't think I'm gonna love it. It's I remember not liking it the first time, but I don't remember being that bad. Maybe.
Well, we're gonna find out next week. What do you think about that, Mur?
It's Guy Pearce. No, it'll be
I think it's time to go.
fine.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Disturbing the peace.
I know I hated it, so I also hope you hate
Disturbing the peace.
it. Okay, well, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended Film Rage family you can find in our show notes. Thanks to Casey, our god of rage, from the nerdy photographer, for the voice of Rage all day. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, subscribe, and send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please, 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 pretty please, 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 make us a rage. That's it for this week. Rage on.
Rage on.